Welcome back, so happy to see you again. And today's video is more of a personal update where I share more of my long-term plans over the next 20 years or so. And it can be fun to look back later when 5 years have passed and say, okay, this is what you thought back then. So as I've been showing up to you for the past months or so every single day, I extremely enjoy it. It's like my entire soul rejoices coming to you all the time. And I have to tell you right now, I'm extremely confident that I'll do this over 20 years. I think I'm burnout immune, if that's a word. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go over the years, and it can be quite a demanding game with, lots of walks in various weather, doing various raids and so forth, having a lot of cognitive load everywhere then. I did it for several hours straight every day, and I got used to it. It was fun and stuff like that. Also combined with the fact that you can see the emotions, see the feelings you have right now, ask and then relabel them as beneficial. That to me has staved me off from burnout all the time. I'm also quite risk averse, so I have 6 videos just in case and always foresee the worst I will take off guard and stuff like that. In terms of goals for the channel itself, views, metrics and so forth, I think I only have one, which is over 100 million subscribers sometime during the next 20 years. And it might sound totally insane, I know, but given the fact that I have some kind of epiphany moment every day, I always learn new things, I always see where I can improve and then do it. If you take that over those 20 years, compounding it all the time and all the money and all the attention reinvested into YouTube and to you, I think that's totally possible. It's all about playing the long game after all, and that means being very good at the basics, being very good at the fundamentals, and make sure that the foundation is so large and so wide that it will not be any risk at all to go up and then come down again, because we have developed strategies for it. And here's tactically how I do it. First, I want you to be your most productive self. That's my main mission overall. And in order to allow you to be your most productive self, I want to be my most productive self, because that gets the evidence and legitimacy that, okay, if I want to be my productive self, I want to learn from someone who is his or her productive self. So being the most productive human on earth is one of my goals too, I realized. Other than that, it's quite easy once you know that if you have one thing, you don't do anything else, and all the time and attention goes to the things that benefits you the most. And of course that includes things as social gatherings, food, sleep, exercise, so forth, because that's required in order to make sure that I show up to you in the best way. But other than that, as I mentioned before, it's all about focusing on the basics, being very good at what to say, be very good at how to say it. And we can talk speaking in general, we can talk personality, we can talk storytelling, which I definitely focused on how to express it in the best way and so forth. I probably mentioned the time when ChatGPT told me how to really tell a great story, which is finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. That gives me a lot of food for thought, that I can look at everything and see, what does it represent? How does it connect to an event which I had early in my life and so forth? As long as I'm being observant and also talk to other people, can relate their stories, it's all going to be good for there. And then of course, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, I want to include some music in there, and I'm still working on it. As you can see, I have my music station set up where my main objective is to be able to record any background song just on the fly, because it's so streamlined with template and right tracks, just plug it in, play, and so forth. It's all about investing in this infrastructure right now, and it might take some time, learning all the different sounds and different shortcuts and so forth. But I'm a big fan of doing it all in the beginning, so that when you do have this ongoing quality, that it's all going to be very easy from there. And the reason why I prefer to make my own music and not rely on others' music is that in an age where, AI and stuff like that, voices channel, I think it can give some personal element if you make your own music, because that gives a lot of control about how you want to express yourself when you're talking. And of course, I have a music background too. I spent 3 years in music high school and got accepted in 1 year at the music university. So I have some musical background to make sure that it's all going to look and sound good from there. And then of course I got this thing too, so that's going to be a lot prominent during the recent weeks. So when I'm out traveling, when I'm out and about, doing some variety in terms of what you see in the background and so forth, more vlog style. Once I know when the others are really set, once I know that I can talk in a very good way, music is all going good and so forth, then I'm really inspired to make something like Mr. Who's the Boss. You can see a lot of different animations and so forth combined with this very relatable personality, and that's something I really like to see myself. And you can of course let me know if you like that type of style or if you don't. And of course, if we talk about things like 20 years into the future, it can be a lot of changes. I think if you overall think big and you eliminate all else from the distractions and give yourself permission to go slow if that's one thing that is not comfortable doing. Let's say if you're doing something first time, has a lot of fear attached to it and so forth. Just realizing you can go slow and then speed it up later. And I want to end with my biggest fear, call it that, and biggest obstacle, which of course is ignorance. When I started out, I thought I knew it all. I thought that I had all the secrets, all the answers, and had tons of conviction and stuff like that. But there's this Dunning-Kruger effect in which when you know little, you believe that you know everything, but the more you know, the more you realize you know less and less. And thus you become more humble in the process. And I believe when you look at really successful people out there and you can see that they're more of a humble demeanor, are more aware of their blind spots, so to speak. And it's kind of funny when I wrote about things like, total presence, and later found out that I was all in my own bubble and totally into the Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't find it to be particularly appealing, to be honest. That's something I want to have extremely top of mind in myself, knowing that the Dunning-Kruger effect exists, and especially if you're a little bit young and starting out. So more observation, more humility, and overall be on guard in terms of when ego can overtake and stuff like that. And it's all about to serve you, the amazing you, you're my everything, with as much actionable and appreciative content as possible in order to elevate both you and me to maximum productivity and so forth. That's what we're going for. So here you have it, my long-term plan for the future. And of course, in 1 year and 2 years, the format will look completely different, and hopefully I'll be transformed too, just like a little sap becomes a flower and then the tree and so forth. I believe that's a lot of good things to come. And as long as we think long-term, being non-needy, we can all do it pretty fast. And other than that, let me know what you want to see for the next 20 years or so in terms of productivity and stuff like that. I'll see you in this video right here, and always remember that you're the most amazing human being alive.